Well, we have a lot of watch this bitches. We were very busy.
I know
over the break.
We saw we were gone for 2 weeks, and there was a lot to see.
What does that even mean? There's a lot to see. There's always a lot to see.
There was a lot of stuff. There's always not always, but there was a lot to see. Anyway, you saw a movie about a woman that has sex with a fish. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, I did. I saw The Shape of Water, and that is what the movie is about. Basically, yeah. Ty was at ski camp. He went away for a sleepaway ski camp with the Japanese school, so we were able to go to an adult movie. I mean, not an adult movie. There
is an adult version of this, though.
What does that mean? You mean like if I go on Pornhub, there's like I can watch
a woman have sex with a fish?
Is that what you're saying? Yes. I don't even know if you're joking or not. Like, you know how they make those movie spoofs of porn?
I know. I don't know if
there
I'm
probably
joking
is.
or not either. Yeah.
Like, actually, it's probably, it's not that big of a film. It's not exactly Star Wars, so I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of what the porn parody name of it would be, of The Shape of Water would be.
The shape of this fish dick?
I don't know.
Fish sticks?
Yeah.
It's like Splash, reverse Splash, but with a lot less jokes. And the bad guy is much more of a villain than the bad guy in Splash.
And no one says bocce balls.
No one says bocce balls. No scientists pretend to be from Sweden and quote Swedish porn. But it was. I will say that I was entertained, and I wouldn't say that I cried during the movie, but I would say my eyes.
Did you cry during Splash?
I couldn't say. It's been a while.
Probably.
I don't know.
When they're taking her.
No, not in the middle. Maybe
not Madison.
Maybe
no.
at the end. Anyway, Shape of Water. I would recommend it. Mrs. Chibi liked it also. It was better than Star Wars. Last Jedi. Thank you. I would see it again and again.
It was better than Cats. You beat me to it.
I also started watching Black Mirror season 4, which just came out on Netflix. We watched the Star Trek episode and the Black Museum episode, and they were both excellent.
I have never seen an episode of Black Mirror, but the Star Trek episode intrigues me. Should I just watch it, or do I have to watch something else before I watch that?
You don't. There are some references, but I do not think it added to my enjoyment at all. I would recommend you just watch it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, very good.
Because I like Star Trek.
Yeah. And it's not gonna go in the direction that you're thinking, because this is
that's the I assume that's why it's a Black Mirror episode.
Well, I didn't know that you watch Black Mirror.
I don't.
Right.
I just said I've never watched it, but I'm familiar with the concept.
Okay.
I've watched The Twilight Zone, and I know this is like a Twilight Zone show.
I know. There's no 70s rock bands featured in these shows, so I know you're not. It's not right up your alley.
That is true. I watched a second Rush documentary over the weekend, so I'm not even going to talk about that one.
I mean, I really like Rush, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that, and I know a lot. I'm very familiar with their music. I can't really imagine the situation that I'd have to be in to watch a Rush documentary. It would probably have to be
the Beyond the Lighted Stage documentary that is on Netflix. That's like the penultimate Rush documentary. That's the really good one. That's totally worth a watch. The other one I watched is the one that's narrated by Paul Rudd about the band's last tour, because they're done.
Oh, okay.
And that's okay. It's okay. It's not as good as I'd like it to be.
All right, let's move on. Somebody wrote Jumanji. You probably saw
I did. I saw Jumanji. The new one? The new one. The Rock one. The Rock.
He's
Kevin
delightful,
Hart.
Isn't he?
He is. They both are. The Rock and Kevin Hart. They're a good team. I like them in Central Intelligence together as well. We all went. We went as a family of 4. So, and we enjoyed it. All of us. It's a very light. It's light fare. Don't expect to leave there going, that was an interesting plot twist at the end. No, that's not going to happen. But you are going to enjoy, the movie, and it feels it has it probably because I was going to say, because it has that whole video game element. But it's not like there's a lot of references to video games, or even that much about video game cliches as I think that they could have gone. But again, it's still fine. It's fine. That's my review. Jumanji.
I might see it.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Maybe tomorrow if we have time.
Yeah, you could take Ty to go see it. There's a couple of instances of I would say crude humor, I think is what they call it. But it's
fish
not.
Sex.
There's some fish sex. There are a couple of dick jokes. So, and they say shit, I think, a couple of times to the point where Elliot said they said the S word.
What? That's
twice.
weird for this movie, right? Like, why?
It's. I think that it's surprising that they didn't make this movie PG. Like they could have cut out the S bombs and had it be a PG movie. I think there's something about the commercialism of PG-13 over PG.
Well, even if it was like it's got guns and stuff, so you can go the PG-13 route with it. It's just odd.
I don't know. Yeah, there's no reason for the language, but there's also they also say shit in Ghostbusters, and I saw that in the theater when I was 6. So what can you do?
Yeah.
It's not like he's.
It's
not like my son's. Yeah,
that was
it's
weird.
Not like if my son was. If my son was walking around the house now going chit 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 chit, I'd be like, oh, I screwed up somewhere. But he's not. It's fine.
Right. I let Ty know that, sometimes we're going to be watching something or listening to something that has curses in it. And it's okay because...
Just be cool.
Just be cool, and we can continue to listen to things with curses in it. Otherwise, you're going to ruin it for everybody. And I said, look, this is art. And in art, sometimes to express yourself properly, you have to curse. And that's
Can't wait for his art teacher conference with you.
Well, I wanted to give him a reason why he couldn't be doing this in his.
I asked your son what the painting was called, and he said it's a fucking rainbow.
So I said, if you want to create art, someday, and feel like you need to put curses in it, that'll be okay. But not, can't ask where your fucking dinner is. All right.
Yes.
We're still on Watch This Bitches, believe it or not.
Yeah. I saw The Kingsman too. Well, I rented it. It was fine also. Enjoyable. I liked it.
Slow motion fighting? A lot of slow motion fighting?
A lot of slow motion fighting.
Any
I
cursing?
posted... There is definitely some cursing. It's not as graphically violent as the first one is.
It'd be hard to be much more graphically violent than that.
I know. And it's also, there's a lot, the first Kingsman movie is like, when you see that for the first time, there's a lot of stuff you're just not expecting, and it goes in lots of weird ways. Mm-hmm. This movie does more of that, but because you saw the first Kingsman movie, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of saw that coming.
You're expecting some nonsense.
Yeah. So I think some of the uniqueness is gone, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. It just makes it more almost like a straight ahead action movie.
Right. All right. I might Netflix. See on Netflix Kingsman 2.
Yeah, it's definitely a Netflix movie. That's how I saw Kong Skull Island the other day too.
Oh, nice.
Which is that movie is a movie I saw. But let's talk about something good.
Is it dumb? It's just like you don't give a shit by the end, right?
Yeah, by the end of the movie, I don't care. It's like you don't care who's alive.
Most of these movies, that's the problem I have, is I could give two shits. When it's like primarily an action movie like that, it's tough.
I forgot. Oh, it was the day after New Year's, and we went stayed at a friend's house for New Year's Eve, and I was just tired and cranky, so I just sat in the bedroom and watched a movie.
Kingsman.
No, that's when I watched Kong. No, after we were home.
Home. I thought you went and stayed at these people's houses. And
we stayed at these people's houses
and watched a movie.
I'm not a good stay up late person, and by 1:30 I really wanted to go to bed, but everyone's like, "No, we're up. We're having a good time. You got to stay awake."
Oh, New Year's? You're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That. And then the next day when we woke up, I was like, "Okay, I just want to get home. I want to get into my bed, and I'm going to watch a shitty movie, and the three of you are on your own."
What time was that, though?
That was the next. Well, the next day was like 11.
Morning.
Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Right.
Did we all watch The Toys That Made Us?
I didn't.
You didn't?
What?
Oh my god! You had one thing to do.
Mrs. Chibi's not that interested in it. Ty's not that interested in it.
He would be if you just put it on.
Nah,
They curse in it. He likes that.
Do they?
Yeah.
I know Elliot was watching it with me, and I wasn't expecting that either. And he's like, they said more bad words. I know they said bad words, but it's about toys.
No, I will watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it. There's so much stuff to watch. That's why I don't understand why people are afraid.
For those who don't know, The Toys That Made Us is a documentary on Netflix about toys from primarily... Huh?
It's a documentary series. It's going to be 8 episodes.
Series.
It's 4 of them are out right now.
Yep.
And
I watched all 4 in a row.
I did not do that, but I watched all 4.
I wasn't planning on it, and then the next thing I know, I had watched all 4.
Yeah, it was really good. At all during this when you're at home?
Huh?
When you're at home, do you stand up at all?
No.
Oh my God! You need an Apple Watch that yells at you to stand up.
I'm not home that often. That's the problem.
How do you binge watch 4 hours worth of something?
It was a Sunday afternoon. Like we had come home from everything we needed to do. And I think we were eating dinner when I put the first episode on. And then I was like, it just kept going. Like, I could still do things like start the bath and get the kids ready for bed and still have it on and be able to watch something like that. And then when it was done, it was like, I don't know, 9:00. So yeah, totally works. It checks out.
Yeah. So it's Star Wars, then Barbie, then He-Man, then G.I. Joe were the 4 episodes.
Yes. And here's my advice for anyone after watching this documentary. If you're given the option of a flat fee or a partial fee with royalties, if you believe in the product you're selling, take the royalties.
Why? Who didn't take the royalties?
G.I. Joe guy didn't take the royalties. Barbie guy did.
Nice.
So...
Well, when I launch my action figure line next year, I will definitely keep that in mind.
Yes, make sure that when you pitch it to Hasbro, that you're like,
right.
And I will take the 1% royalties, thank you.
Wombat and his couch commandos. That's my line.
That sounds like
It seems like such a hard thing for him. Like even if he had taken the royalties, don't you think Hasbro would have just been like, "All right, we're gonna call it something else now."
Yeah, when they relaunched it,
right?
Like, do they call it G.I. Joe,
right?
Or do they call it
G.I. John?
Yeah, Army Men, Captain Army Man.
I want to check that out because I have a lot of those toys.
It's cool. It's fun.
I see a lot of Cincinnati.
There is a lot of Cincinnati. It is a fast watch.
Was Star Wars in there in the first 4 or no?
That's
Star Wars. That's Cincinnati.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole first episode.
Got it. We
nothing but Star Wars.
We watched Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back we just watched Empire Strikes Back today, because Ty's been home. Those are good movies. Did you know?
Yep.
We watched the despecialized edition. That's the original.
Empire. Nonsense. They don't change. They didn't change much in Empire.
I'm hoping they go back and add Snoke into some of these scenes.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ty enjoyed them. So that made me happy. Those movies still hold up. It's really amazing 40 years later that those movies, they don't look like garbage. It's pretty surprising.